Favorite band to perform with? That's a tough one. I'd say, as far as a single performance, we had the privilege of playing with Paul McCartney and Jay-Z, and that was, I mean, Sir Paul is just, he was so gracious and really humble for, I mean, you know, given the fact that every single person in the building was like killing to come say hi to him and shake his hand. But as far as a whole tour with a band, I'd have to say Metallica was that was a really fun tour. It was a really strong one. The guys were very hospitable, and we had a ton of fun. We felt like we had to go into that one playing our best and really win over some of the people in the crowd, being hardcore Metallica fans who don't like anything else. You know what I mean? And it was a challenge, and we took it and played hard, and it panned out. We did really well. We had a great time. We are doing a couple of things, what you call, I guess, green measures or offset measures on the Project Rev tour. One of them being we are donating $1 from every ticket to American Forests. The bottom line on that is that we're hoping to plant 1 million trees by the end of the tour, or with the money from Project Rev from beginning to end. In addition to that, we've converted a number, I want to say majority, of our trucks and buses from this tour to biodiesel. And just doing that alone is the equivalent of not driving the average car around the entire globe 13 and a half times. So it's a ton of CO2 saved. Those are our two main, ideas for this one, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to do things in the future with our tours.
That's really good.
It's cool. Our attitude about the green stuff is like, it's not a ton of trouble. Do have to make an effort, but it's something that when you put it in place and see the effects of it, and you get to do these things and know that you're doing something, that's a good feeling. And we definitely encourage everybody, other bands and fans at home to do what you can. It's actually, I would say that doesn't have anything to do with any of those things, probably. Good question, though. But for us, we're getting a little bit older. Our tastes, they haven't changed dramatically, but they change, just like anybody. This person who asked the question, what's their name? Jasmine. If Jasmine thinks about what she listens to this year versus what she listened to last year, versus what she listened to 5 years ago. And we're talking about Hybrid Theory came out in 2001. We wrote some of those songs in 1999. It's like our tastes are obviously very different from, let's say, 10 years ago. And I think with every album, it just comes down to what's exciting to us at the time. It's not an indication of how things necessarily are going to be in the future. I don't know. The next record could have a ton of rapping on it. The next record could be really heavy. Next record could be more soft. I don't know. It's hard for me to say because it's more about certain albums than it is certain artists. I think there aren't that many artists that I follow. Like, I love every single record, But I was always a fan of Nine Inch Nails. I was always a fan for Run DMC, and I love the Roots. I still love to go watch those guys play. Jay-Z is a great. He is one of the greats. There's a lot of, just as in what we do, I think all the guys in the band are kind of like me in that sense, where we just kind of like a lot of different things, and we tend to jump around. 1 week we'll be on classic rock, listening to Hendrix, and the next week it's about prog, and the next week it's about like the current hip hop single that just came out. I don't know. When we were doing Minutes to Midnight, it's when we were doing stuff that sounded like what we had done before, we were feeling kind of like we were ripping ourselves off. It was just feeling a little boring. And, we immediately started thinking of bands like U2 and Depeche Mode and, the Beatles. There's all of the great bands at some point or another hit a hurdle or hit a wall where it was like, in order for us to be happy and do what we're doing anymore and continue to make records, we need to jump outside of our box and do something drastically different. And you have the Achtung Baby and, you know, stuff like that, where it's just like, how did they do that? You know, they just totally changed their sound. It still sounds like them, but it's totally different, and it's great.